I'm not gonna lie to you. This group is pretty hacks. Before I move this tier list, the ranking of the Black Clover characters' abilities, their magic. Please do me a favor, leave your own ranking of their magic in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got a pencil here. And here we are to rank the Black Bulls magics by which ones I would want. Yes, me. I'm not ranking them from weakest to strongest, because you make very different arguments on weakest to strongest is what I want, but I want them. And not just inverse, like out of it. Like I could, like, whenever I go to do these like videos talking about like a group of characters' abilities or magic, someone's like, do I do one inverse and then out of verse and separate? I don't know. Tell me if y'all want that in the future. Like, do you want me to ever split these up to like real world stuff and inverse stuff? Because as you know, like every verse has those couple of powers that is only good in the verse, and outside of it, it just becomes pretty much useless and or much more of a hindrance. Please tell me what you think about that in the comment section down below. But honestly, forget about that. Let's hop right into it with our first pick. And I hate to do it to him. But in or out of verse. Yeah. Oh wait, actually no. Hold on. Let's make some. See, I haven't done a tier list in so long. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't even considered a tier list in so long. What do I just say no? No. Like every other magic in the cast is one that I would at least like consider. Ew, I don't know, ew. But like, there's every other cast member has a magic that I would like consider viable, like something that I wouldn't be like too mad taking. Like, sure, I'll hold that if I really need to, but no, just not for Henry. I mean, to be fair, like just because of how good the magic set here is, or like the power set in general, like we already at decent with the second bottom tier. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Then we have pretty darn good, I'd say. Or in fact, let's just put it that. Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. And then we have amazing. Then we have not SG. Give it to me now. There we go. Okay, so back to Henry. Here's the thing. Even with the recent chapters revelations about like Henry's magic, now with the certain help of a certain someone who shall not be named yet, it can be done, right? Like you can manage the powers that Henry has and direct them at somebody. Like even just like out of verse, I'm just dead. Like I can't absorb magic out of verse because the rest of the verse or our verse, you know, power. Wait till I start power scaling the real world. Wait for some real world matchups. But in terms of like our world, no one has magic as far as I know. So it would be essentially useless for me to have magic absorption in our world. And two, the thing is, Henry relies on magic to live. Not to move, not to breathe, not to enhance his abilities or anything. It's not like he absorbs to make himself stronger. He relies on that stuff to live. What do I want to have a literal handicap for? Like, I don't know. I would not want to be bedridden for my entire life, so that's not good. And I wouldn't want to constantly be draining my friends or forcing them to eat by just hanging around me. Like, I'd feel bad if suddenly everyone in my family or everyone I love is like just constantly being sucked away because I can't control my own magical ability. I know it's a curse. It's not Henry's fault, but I can't, like, it's not his fault, but I'm not taking that. That magic is garbage. And to be fair, it can be used well. Like we saw, it can be used to suppress high level beings and stuff like that. Concept manipulators, right? But in terms of just like, yeah, I'll take that. No, I won't. I don't know. Like, there's just nothing in my mind that convinces me to be like, yes, Henry's magic. I will. That's the exact one that me, myself, and I desire. No, never. Speaking of another, no, never. All right. Now let me level with you real quick. Here's the thing. It's decent. Like, I was initially gonna put it in no down with Henry, and then I was gonna make Gordon his own tier for his magic, his poison magic. But the thing is, right? I don't think I like poison magic as much as I should because of just the character behind it. But in terms of like actual usage, curse, poison, whatever magic, like, I mean, it's not that bad. It's weird to say, but like, it's not the worst. Like, the ability to just poison people, it's pretty darn good. One of my favorite characters in one of the series I'm reviewing right now has poison abilities, and you know, like, I wouldn't exactly mind, especially in the way that he can fire it out. Like, he can just fire it out in plumes, waves. Like, it's not even like a subtle poison. Like, a lot of characters in fiction, they'll have like gases or something, like a mist or something like that. That'll like slowly submerge you and like will attack you on the. Nah, not Henry. Gordon just essentially just dumps you in poison. Like, just drown and suffer as you drown. Like, it's good. It's the only thing that Gordon's magic is lacking that keeps it decent compared to anything higher, like pretty darn good, amazing, especially not Give It To Me Now, is the lack of versatility. Like, I can't really use Gordon's magic on like a day-to-day scale that doesn't involve hurting people. Like, that's solely a self-defense magic. And while you can definitely turn into like a healing magic, which would be useful, like, he manages to redirect Henry's curse. We don't know how far the limit of it is. Like, we don't know if he can like actually heal ailments and stuff like that. Like, if he can do some top tier like healing people, taking care of other people, doing all the stuff like that, then I'd be like, wait, maybe you can just slide me that. But considering it seems just to be pure poison, even in great slumes, like great slumes. I tried to say in great sludge and great flumes at the great time, and slumes came out. But yeah, I can't rock with you on that one, Gordon. You just ain't the one. You know enough of like being mean to certain people. Let's level up a little bit. Let's do it. See, I don't want to cover any of the top tier magics too soon, because like I'm going to actually, you know what? I'll just keep on like a nicer train. I think Gosh's magic would be better if it was, once again, it sort of hits like the Gordon problem. That almost makes me want to slide down to decent, but it almost hits the Gordon problem where it's like it's a little bit too inflexible. Like, mirror magic is super cool, especially in the way that this man right here, this freak, if you will, the way Gosh uses it, I think he uses it very, very well, especially with the whole little glass mirror shard thing he has in his eye, was able to multiply people. Like, on a combat front, especially in the team that he works with, the magic's pretty much flawless. Obviously, light beams firing out from everything, being able to reflect light magic, one of the fastest magics out there, if not the fastest magic. You have the ability to multiply I literally just said multiplying your allies, stuff like that. You can even multiply yourself. I think all that is really, really good. But like, one, I would never want to coexist with another copy of me, because we're instantly throwing hands the moment I see me. But at the same time, I don't know. It's something. It's a purely offensive magic, and at least for me, I don't necessarily want pure offense. Like, I like flexibility, right? Like that's what makes a power top tier to me. Like, sure, you can blow up planets, you can do all these good things, but can I fetch my remote off the couch for me while I'm sitting down? Like, can I do that? No. If I try to use Gosh's mirror magic to somehow get me a remote that's like on the piano while I'm sitting on the couch, I'm going to destroy the piano and the remote and probably put a hole in my wall. It's not going to be that useful. Meanwhile, something along the lines of other magics on here, they're useful for not only attacking, which is great, but also useful for defending. It balances each other out. Like, it's not just one way or the other. I get to have the perks of both. But meanwhile, as I think, this is literally just a cool factor thing, because these two technically should be on pretty much the same level. I know Gosh's is stronger. And by the way, this is under the assumption that I get to, like, I have full maximum capabilities. Like, I am as skilled as the wielder at it, because if I wasn't, if I like trained from scratch with some of these magics, they would have to be way down here. Like, there are definitely some ease of use magics, and then there's some top tier insane ones. But in terms of just a simple, like good old fashioned run me up, Big Scotty, I just can't give it to mirror magic, no matter how cool it may be, just because of how only offense it is. It just doesn't do anything outside of that, and thus it can't get too high of a rating from me. But then we have a little interesting thing to get into, and I think that's thread magic. And honestly, like, the main thing Vanessa's known for after a certain point in the narrative isn't necessarily her, like, offensive or defensive capability. Well, technically it's defensive, but fate manipulation. That's the main thing that Vanessa's known for. And I think that's good. I think Rouge, or is it Rogue or Rouge? I didn't watch the anime. Is it Rogue or Rouge? I know it's spelled like that, but I'm not sure which way it's pronounced. I probably should look that up. But still, I think Vanessa's, like, thread magic is cool, and it's definitely inherently, at least to me, more flexible, if less powerful, than something like mirror magic or poison magic. And I think that's why I'll put it at the top of pretty darn good. But at the same time, like, see, I don't want to put it in amazing. Like, I may, if anything, I'd have to make a separate tier, but I think just to not leave Gosh alone, like, I'm gonna put Vanessa at the top of pretty darn good with her thread magic. Because the thing is, with thread magic, you sort of get this like freedom and flexibility that you don't normally have with other magics, like the magics that are below it, right? Like, obviously we ain't talking about Henry's magic. Henry's curse sucks to suck, my boy. But like, in terms of these two in particular, you can only use it for offense. Meanwhile, like, as long as you make the threads thin enough and sharp enough, you can use them for offense, but at the same time, you can use them for defense. You can use them for light. You can do stuff like that. Like, I'll admit, I'd be the idiot Spider-Man-ing through the city with thread magic. Like, no lie, no falsehoods being stated in this particular moment. But in terms of actually like having complete control over like as many threads as I want and just vibing out, yeah, thread magic is kind of my wave. Because imagine you're just getting attacked and suddenly you just go bada bing bada boom, pop out a little cat, and then you're just strolling on out because nothing in the universe can even remotely stop you. Like, the only thing that could hypothetically stop you is that one dude with devil horns coming out of his head talking about he can control and manipulate concepts. Like, outside of that, you're just chilling. You aren't dying. It'd be like that. It'd be like that sometimes. I know that spell takes like loads of magic out of her, but if I'm just trying to get out of a simple altercation, I don't need loads of time. I just need like a minute, probably at most, and I'll just sprint away. That's what I think is the coolest, the nicest. It has that good freedom and flexibility, but the only thing that limits it from being higher is like a lack of. Is it weird to say a lack of raw power? Like, I don't know. Like, this is obviously, that's the thing. That's why I say this isn't like a ranking of them objectively, because objectively, removing Rouge from thread magic, like removing any of that, it's not even called Rouge. It's red thread of fate, I'm pretty sure. But in terms of like removing that from her, she's kind of fodder compared to the rest of the game. Like, poison's better, that's better, even the magic drain is better. Like, there's pretty much no character except for maybe like Nero, since she requires like close contact, but like every other character has a arguably better magic than her, or at least a more offensive magic that can be used more offensively alongside defensively. So I'm sorry, Vanessa, you gotta stay there. I know you gotta stay there. All the Vanessa stands, please don't attack me. I know it's blasphemy, but I can't help it. But speaking of another one that's like, here, that's the thing. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna leave transmutation magic or transformation magic or whatever. I believe it right there, mainly because like, as cool as Gray's usage of the ability is, especially in like their regular state, like when they're just transforming from person to person, while that is cool, I don't think even like the transmutation part is like, it's weird to say it's not worth it, because like you can transform other people too, but why do I want to do that? Like, Gray's magic, I'm trying to think, like, defensively, would it even be that good? Like, I think I've meant to slide her. Now that I think about it, I know she likes him, so she's probably going to appreciate being topped by Gosh. But, like, I can't necessarily think of a reason to put transformation magic above thread magic. Yo, I can't do that, though. I can't, like, I know it's an arcane level magic, and like the ability to touch something and change its literal fundamental structure is insane, and I'm not necessarily like downplaying that, but relative to me, like I don't feel like transmuting my couch into a remote, right? Like I don't feel like transmuting my pillow into a remote. That'd be kind of and like, here's the thing, the illicit ideas running through my head right now just with the ability to transmute anything is like, I pick up a piece of paper, transmute it into gold or stuff like that. Like, that's cool. But then the fraud and the arrest, and there's nothing I can do about that. Like, in or out of verse, this isn't necessarily useful. That's why Gray's support. Like, you can definitely argue, like, but essentially both of these characters are just pure support. But you can definitely, like, say that Vanessa has more offensive presence. Like, she can take control of somebody with the thread. She can do stuff like that. But Gray sort of just relies on this almost lack of Like, you just gotta hope. Gray essentially just has to hope that you just aren't in the mood to swing for blood, and that you just don't. Like, if you weave Gray's hands, like, you just straight weave and then go pop, pop, and she's just done. And that's the same that happened to me if I had this magic. Like, I would be like, weep, and I'd just be like, it's the lack of range, the lack of utility, the lack of like, I mean, transforming, not even transforming into other people. Like, what good is that going to do me? Like, I could trick somebody for like 5 seconds, but in our modern world, there are cameras everywhere, so I wouldn't be able to like secretly transform and walk out of somewhere without obviously being noticed as transforming. So I'm done there. And what good is transforming into someone strong if I don't get their attributes? It'd be one thing if Gray could essentially produce like a secondary copy of whoever she was mimicking with her magic. Like, she would steal all their, essentially a Ditto, right, from Pokemon. Just if you make Gray that with her transformations, then I'd be like, oh, okay, it's pretty darn cool, pretty darn useful. But no, it's just like the external appearance, so you don't necessarily get any of the benefits of being that other individual, right? Like, you get nothing, and that's not necessarily what they trade off. Especially when I could have poison magic, mirror magic, heck, thread magic. Like, they're like, I'm not gonna lie, pretty much everything else is better. It's essentially, transmutation magic is way too situational to be used properly, and would cause me more trouble than it's worth in either world, because either I'm just getting body bagged because I can't do anything on my own unless I get my physical hands on it, in the case of the Black Clover world, and in the case of our real world, I can't transmute anything without getting into serious legal trouble that I wouldn't even be able to escape from, because I don't have the power to do so. I would just get put in jail and like transform into other people. I mean, that's the thing. I could live a fake life. I could just like transmute myself looking into other people and have them commit fraud. But then how am I gonna have access to the bank account? Like, nothing works. Nothing works out with Gray's magic. I thought I was gonna put Gray's magic so much higher, because like I was thinking, like, I don't even know why. I was thinking like Full Metal Alchemist, like a quick tap. But even then, you need hand contact. Alchemy low-key farter. Is that what's going through my, yo, wait till I get to Full Metal Alchemist month. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy, and I low-key am. But regardless of that, let's get off of Gray. I kind of got on their case a little bit too much. I ain't even gonna lie. I feel kind of bad. Another one in pretty darn good. Magna Fire Magic. It's cool. It like, and to be, it's got actually. Do what would I prefer? I think I'd actually prefer. Wow, I was gonna give Magnus some credit, but now that I think about it, I kind of gotta drop him a little bit low, because what does like fire magic essentially runs into all the same problems as poison magic and mirror magic. Yo, it's not even as cool though. Do I put Magnus up? I think I do, because like pretty darn good is something that's like cool and pretty unique. Meanwhile, this is just fire. It's fire, and it's not even like really fire that can be heavily manipulated. Like, you can't, I don't know, I don't think we've ever seen Magna like fly or step in midair on fire platform. He hasn't done any heat blast level stuff, if you know what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing fancy about the fire magic. The only thing that Magna has in particular that's like unique to him that could hypothetically be useful is Fire Chain Deathmatch. But even then, why would I ever resort to that? Because as long as the other person's still armed and I'm not, I still lose, even if I do equal out our magical ability. And I hate to say it, I wouldn't want to sneeze in the middle of the night and suddenly burn my house down. I know that's like unlikely, because to be fair, the amount of things you'd probably do if you sneezed in the night with any of their powers would be bad, except for maybe like thread magic. You probably have to wake up to like a whole bunch of yarn. But in terms of like fire magic, it's cool. No, I can't do Magna that dirty. I think fire is better than poison. I do think it is cooler. And truly offensively, even though Magna isn't like the strongest, most insane, like he's not a Vermilion. He's not out here like Vugelion or Mereoleona. Like, he's not those levels of fire, but even still, with his level of fire, you're very good defensively. You're well, not defensively, but offensively. Sure, you may destroy everything around you, but you'll live. If you burn house, has never meant anything. So yeah, Magna, your fire magic isn't too bad, but it's not anything like knock my socks off insane. If I'm being completely real with you, it's alright. It's alright. It's decent, if you know what I'm saying. Decent now. Okay. Do we start getting into the? Hold on, let me check again. Let me just make sure, because I think I'm gonna run into, but I'm gonna put it in pretty darn good. Like I don't know why they cut poor. I was about to call her Nero. I really was just straight up about to call her Nero. And no, I'm not looking up her name because I still forgot. Sakurai. There we go. But like Sakurai's magic runs into almost the same problem. No, pretty much the exact same problem of Gray's magic, where it's like it's not useful enough because of the such limited range. Like, even if to be fair, transmutation magic, I literally have to be touching the object. And honestly, and then, see, now I'm thinking about transmutation magic in the real world. Yo, hold on a second, because she did bring Gosh essentially back to life. Is it Grey's redemption? I could literally become Grey's Anatomy if I really wanted to. Because like I could literally heal people. I could reconstruct them so they're in a healthy state. I'd be a miracle doctor. I'd go to jail. Not jail, but I'd be questioned so deep on that though. Like, would it be worth it? Because I still have to go through medical school and stuff like that. You know, it'd be hard. It'd be so difficult because like I would still have to go through all that to get my license and stuff like that to even practice. And obviously, no one's just gonna believe, oh, come here, let me touch you, and I can get all your wounds away. So never mind, Gray, you're staying where you are. But like, here's the thing: if I could skip all the legal prerequisites to becoming a doctor, all the way up there, because that's just free money. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, like that's just free bread. However, just due to more logical circumstances and how long it would take and how much of a process it would be, still staying down bottom of decent. But who was I talking about? I was talking about Sakurai and how sealing magic is like, it's alright. Like, to be fair, I do think the ability to seal things away, like wounds and stuff like that, the ability to just, you know, loop-de-loop and pull, and now you're sealed away for 1,000 years. Like, it's all right. It's pretty darn good, in fact. Like, I'm not even saying it's bad. But once again, the thing that gets me is the range and the lack of utility. Like, arguably, like, what am I going to seal away? Like, what's it, like, and does she even seal them in, like, a pocket? Open and close objects, including other magic. Magic without the need of agree more, full potential. Like, I can't really think of anything that, like, I would even use it for. Like, I'm trying to remember off the top of my domer, but I can't really think. Can you, like, seal objects down into a smaller form? Like, can you do a Mr. Compress kind of thing where, like, you have the object, it's just, like, in your pocket, and then you can pop it up? Maybe. If that's the case, I may put it a little bit higher. But honestly, it's gonna have to go down there. It's gonna have to go down there just because there's nothing offensive with the magic. Like, and you can seal away people too. So you could just run up, tap somebody on the back, and then bada bing, bada boom, they're stuck, sealed away forever and rock. But I don't think that's like a viable strategy self-defense. Like, as long as someone stays back, you obviously just go run up to them and be like, yeah, and smack them and be able to seal them. Any person in either verse that's actively trying to harm you, or any person in either verse that you're actually trying to do harm to, isn't going to just stand there and let themselves get sealed away. Like, they're going to be fighting back the entire time, and that makes it essentially impossible to grab them, making the magic essentially useless. And heck, I'm not even going to put Greys above, because at least Grey can use the magic on themselves, and like, maybe transform into someone of notoriety or something like that, and like, do funny impressions and get views on the internet by transforming into different people. Yo, give it to me now. Nah, but actually, I'm sorry, man. I think you have to go. I may have to go to the top for that because, like, if imagine you could transform to the Rock and just do like Rock videos as the Rock, and then people be questioning. Like that could build up so much fun, and you could turn to anybody. You can turn to anybody. Like, but you get caught for shapeshifting so quickly. Like, you know what the wild thing is? The thing that holds Gray back at the bottom of the tier is that every time I think of something positive for her, like just a sharp negative just drops on my domer. Like, and I can't ignore those negatives just because of their likelihood. And I don't want to just do like, oh, if everything was going perfectly in the world. Like the reason I want some of these magics is because things may not be going perfectly in the world, and they'd be nice to have. So yeah, I'm sorry. Both Gray and Sakurai, yeah, like you're just not those girls, pal. You're just not those girls. But let me see, is that it for the Ash magic is pretty cool. It's gonna go below though. It's only in pretty darn good mainly because I think the concept is cool and obviously like the full counter stuff really, really neat. But I think the things that weaken the magic for me, like on a usability scale, inverse and outerverse, is the prep that's needed to use it for one, and two, the lack of like offensive variability, I guess is the word I'm looking for, right? Because like you can blast out Ash, and you can full counter with some prep time. That's about all I got though. Like there's not much crazy I can do with that. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like there's nothing off the top of my head that makes you want to go like, yes, this is crazy, the best, amazing, super great, perfect stuff. Like the only reason I'm putting it higher is because like I could at least make a dust cloud. Like I could make a dust cloud as long as I keep that's the thing, the prep isn't too bad in our world or even their world, because as long as you like, and we don't know how long the prep takes. I don't think it's like Magna's where his literally took months upon months of prep and you can only use it one time. Like I think Zora has just gotten so good at what he does that he could literally just wake up in the morning, do some inscriptions on him, and bada bing bada boom, he's covered in a full counter. So if I could just full counter, oh my, if I could just full counter things that come back at me, bada bing bada boom, I appreciate that. So that's why it gets put above. It's perfect for distraction and escaping. Anything outside of that though, it's kind of high. It's not anything crazy. But with that, I think we sort of like run out of our like. I have no idea what that was. But for now, I think we're actually out of like the lower tier magics because everything else here is either amazing or give it to me now. So I guess we can hop into the first amazing, and that would be Charmy Patterson? Pappitson. Charmy Pappitson. And that's who we're talking about. Now, notably, I wonder, like, Charmy's not necessarily like the worst character out there. I'm mostly indifferent to them, but the main thing that had me interested is just their magic and their hypothetical history, because like they bring up the whole ideas of dwarves existing, and that raises questions. It honestly makes me wonder who's the parent. Like, was the dwarf dude the dad, or was it some dwarf chick? Because either way, I wonder, like, how do you not notice that? I mean, I know true love and everything, but like, it seems like not even she knew. And I know Charmy's like a comic relief character, but not even she knew about that. So like, what was that relationship like? I'm kind of intrigued to find out. But regardless of that, in terms of like having two magic attributes at once, that's very, very good. The ability she has, like, to be fair, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, arguably 5. Yeah, they're like 5 people above her. A little bit of power scaling for y'all. I mean, you can maybe, I wouldn't even say gosh, but like gosh would be a hard argument. But while there are a solid like 5 people in the bowls above her, Charmy's kind of a beast power wise. Like, she did what Rill couldn't and beat that one dude. Actually, no, she beat Rill. I forgot. They were fighting Rill, and then she pulled up and just puttied that man by just accidentally awakening her other magic. So that's pretty darn crazy. And that's, once again, like, just cotton magic alone is pretty darn good. And sure, it looked goofy as like some of these gigantic fluffy rams that beat you up, but I'm summoning gigantic fluffy ramps, I could beat you up. Like, what are you gonna do to exactly stop me? And imagine, the thing is, I could actually play that off real world wise, and if someone actually ever comes after me, I have enough raw power to do what I want. And obviously, I can just make little fluff servants, little cotton magic. Like, I could actually do things with it. And I'm probably making, like, little puppets and servants. I wouldn't want to make a copy of me. But, like, little miniature servants, I think that's pretty neat concept. I'd appreciate that. Mainly just because of how useful they'd be, not necessarily in combat or in battle or anything like that, but just as living a day-to-day life. Like, I could have one of them just whip me up dinner in the kitchen, another one helping, like, massage my back out of pains, you know, other than flipping the channel. Like, yo, honestly, give it to me now off of cotton magic alone. The versatility, the ability to constantly feed people. Like, I could literally have Soul World Hunger of my own to send my magic out to go feed people. Like, yo, honestly, I was kind of underrating Charmy because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the aesthetic of her magic, but aesthetic aside, it's just really, really good. The only thing it's lacking is, like, good transportation, but the defense / offense is already really, really good with cotton magic, and then you switch over to food magic and the ability to just eat whatever attacks that come at you, even if they're composed of magic. Pretty darn cool too. It's a nice side effect. It's not anything crazy, I'll admit. Like, honestly, I'd say cotton magic is overall the better thing. It's just that in that one scenario she was in against Elf Rill, it was a better idea to switch to food magic. But yeah, I'd say Pearl Magic is the first of Give It To Me Now. I was about to underrate her, but no. Really, really good. Speaking of also really, really... Yeah, I think... Yo, are we even going to have an amazing tier? Hold on, let me take a swig of my water real quick. Yo, are we even going to have an amazing tier? I think we may. I think we still may. I think we still may. But we'll get into that when we get into that. But... spatial magic is just insane. Like, and I know he has defensive spatial magic, but like, I can legit just teleport. Who gonna stop me? No, but in actuality, like, the ability to open portals wherever I want, whenever I want, the ability to casually redirect my opponent's attack, the ability to just travel anywhere, like, anywhere. And notably, I mean, to be fair, it takes more magic to jump long distances. I think that's what Finral says. Like, he has limits to how much he can just do the woo because of how much magic it takes. But if I can do a one-way trip to Italy and then just have to take a nap somewhere and then can hop right back, I'm taking that. That's free. Come on now. Like, what reason would I not have to do that? The ability to... Ooh. Oh my. But the ability to just freely transport myself, transport my enemies, transport other people. I can just teleport things. You know how easy it would be to be a delivery person as long as you have Fenrir Magic? What's the address? So-and-so place. I bet. Open a portal, throw the pizza through, to knock on the door, and call it done. Delivery in 10 seconds or less. Come on now, that's free real estate right there. Like, it's like, there's just nothing. Give it to me now. Like, the freedom and flexibility, sure. I wouldn't have, like, and I value mobility so much more. Like, as much as I love, like, raw power and stuff like that, like the ability to just be a beast in terms of just raw combat, I value travel versatility and mobility so much more from a defensive, offensive, all that standpoint. And while it's not like Charmy's immobile, she's not being teleportation, like, at all. And the fact that as long as I play my cards right, like, sure, Finral can't do it properly, but I feel like if he really needed to, if Finral was ever going to get another, like, crazy amp, it would be having access to Langris's version of spatial magic and just being able to rip space apart and eradicate anything that touches my magic. And worst comes to worst, someone tries to stick me up by letting them get flicked with a little spatial magic and they end up in the bottom of the ocean. Sucks to suck. Oh, it's not, I'm not wiping them out from existence, but I think I'm doing pretty darn good teleporting them to the bottom of the abyss. Like, I'm chilling. Honestly, Fenrir Magic, easy give it to me right now. Then we have another, just, it's free. And once again, it's the mobility, the aesthetic, the electricity, all that. Notably, I will, like, while I am low-key being a bit biased with Finral, just because, like, I love teleportation so much as a concept, and the speed and movement appeals to me so much as an individual, because, like, imagine never having to be late to work again. also never having to worry about travel times. Like, you have family in another country and you'd love to go visit them, but not only do you have to get on that flight, you have to pay for the tickets, you have to do so much extra stuff. Imagine you're just able to skip that. You just hit them up and be like, hey, yo, cuz, where you at? And then they'd be like, oh, I'm so-and-so. And then you just hang up the phone, appear right next to them. Pretty darn cool. I'd appreciate that. Come on now. It's light work, my boy. But in actuality, I think Luck is almost like, in my view, darn near a just straight 1-to-1 upgrade from Charmy. Like, you get pretty much either the exact same, if not more power at your disposal. Because, you know, we've seen Luck, like, just rock out in the recent chapters. We haven't necessarily seen Charmy do much. He's been much more support as of recent. So we know Luck is either comparable, if not stronger in power. We know he's most certainly faster. The man's a speed demon out the wazoo. He has electrical-based abilities, which means I never have to worry about charging my phone again. Actually, no. You know how many phone batteries you'd accidentally fry? Like, I was going to use the whole being able to charge your phone instantly thing as, like, a benefit. But honestly, like, you must have some fine-tuned control, because you got to realize how much power Luck is wielding. Like, he's literally his body is overflowing with so much electricity that his body is covered in it, transforming him and forming horns. Like, that's not going to be an easy charge up. But seriously, like, just the stuff that one can do with the abilities of lightning. Whew. And the thing is, you may be like, well, it doesn't have the same mobility as spatial magic. And yes, that's why it's under it. No, but in actuality, the sheer things one can do with the speed that Luck can move at, with the speed enhancements from his ability, plus all the power enhancements, plus arguable defensive enhancements, because I don't know what exactly is getting through a lightning wall if I just leave it behind. Like, it's just all around a great magic. And while, sure, it's not the perfect thing utility-wise, like, it's not up to the same utility tier as Charmy in my mind, because, you know, the whole little mini fluffy servants thing, and, you know, solving world hunger, like, all that good stuff is not up to that tier in terms of just sheer versatility and utility. But for everything I would want, from high-speed travel to great attack potency to great defense to great speed to great all that to cool looks, the aesthetic is what carries it. I'll be completely honest. Like, if it looked ugly but had all the same properties, Charmy's would probably have to go above. But just for the oh no, it's consuming me, the sauce, like, I'd have to give it due credit. It's just that good. It's just that spicy. I can't. It's not my fault. These things are just the laws of nature. This is not my fault in the slightest. I hate to say it, but I guarantee it and I stand by it. Come on now. Y'all know what time it is. But I think that's enough of just, like, riding Luck, because everyone knows this man's just amazing. Like, you gotta realize, like, Luck hasn't done much, like, relative to our, like, main characters, like, you know, your Yamis, your Nox, which is weird to say Nox is like a main character, but he came on the clutch and has been going crazy. But Noels, your Yamis, your Astas, your Yunos, like, he's not, like, the most prevalent character, and his character arc sort of hasn't been a thing for a long while. But he be staying up there in them popularity polls. I think one of those big reasons is because of how cool and how amazing his magic is. That man, he's just a biologically different being. I hate to say it. But speaking of other things I hate to say, yeah, I'm putting Noel down on amazing. And hold on. Before y'all come at me. And be like, whoa, bias. You kind of right. This entire tier list is my bias. Haha, got you. I tricked you. I bamboozled you. But no, in actuality, I think the only reason Noel's magic won't go as high as these is solely because of that agua. And what I mean by that is there's nothing that Noel's magic can't. There's nothing Noel's magic can do that beats out, or no, there's nothing that Noel's magic can't do that these can't, and all these have an extra benefit, right? Like, you need good attack potency and durability and range of coverage. You have that with all three of these. You have good arguable defense and offense. You have that with all three of these. You have arguably amazing mobility, especially if you're able to manipulate yourself through the magic and stuff like that. You have pretty darn good you're set pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. You're doing pretty darn good. And to be fair, you do have great large scale attack, great potency. You can enter Saint stage if you're strong enough. Like, you have all this juicy, amazing, legendary stuff. But I don't know, nothing like, it doesn't beat having free servants that can do whatever you want, and you're also just extremely powerful. It doesn't beat, I look this cool and I have this much lightning and I'm also literally one of the fastest beings out there. It just doesn't beat full range teleportation of movement, inverse or out of verse. Like, it simply doesn't beat any of those. It doesn't have anything that compares to the full range of motion, the aesthetic / the power difference, the end, or this. Well, to be fair, Noelle is stronger, but still, like, the flat out, I'll straight up admit, I like electricity way more than I like water, even though I love drinking water. And just the straight up utility, like, it's utility, it's aesthetic, and it's both utility and aesthetic for, like, I almost call them Langris, Finral. Like, all these just have that little extra bit of spice that makes me appreciate them all the more. And then, speaking of things that I appreciate, you know what, we won't cover Dark Magic just yet. I'm going to put Anti-Magic up in Amazing too. Now, hold on. I know you're like, wait, why isn't just in number 1? And to be fair, inverse, it's crazy, and out of verse, it can be crazy as long as you have access to all the swords on the Green, where you can just ride on any of them, just surfboard them bad boys to wherever you need to go, because why not? You know, you can. And freeform flight is cool and all, and of course, like, to be fair, anti-magic is essentially just dark matter from Seven Deadly Sins. If you squint it the right way, sure, it has the magic negate. It, like, take darkness from Seven Deadly Sins and give it magic negation on top of that. Like, give it the Demon King's power, and then bada bing, bada boom, you have anti-magic. And once again, like, anti-magic has some cool effects with it. Like, not only does it negate magic, you can knock magic back at some people. You can also, like, drain. You can split the cause and effects that allow magic to happen in order to not necessarily override them, but to defeat them before they can even happen. All that's good, but I think the only moment where I can say, like, Asta's, like, lacking is, actually, no, I really like that flex. Because then, like, here's the thing. Under the assumption that I can essentially just use dark matter as, like, any of these constructs. No, like, I can just use anti-magic as a construct that just happens to negate all forms of magic. Ooh, yo, honestly, I have to give it to me now. Yo, I was kind of gonna downplay it a little bit, just to give Noelle a friend, because I don't think he's gonna get many. But in terms of just, like, sheer does it beat any of these though? Like, I still don't think anti-magic utility wise beats anything that Finral has. I don't think, like anti-magic is cool too, and I get a homeboy, like, me and my boy Lee, we be dapping each other up, we be milli rocking on people's blocks, like, we could definitely do that. Is it better? Oh, I'm trying to think, because, like, if I'm being real, I just like the magical attribute of electricity more, and I feel like it can be used in more situations than anti-magic in and out of verse. Because the thing is, once anti-magic leaves the verse, you're sort of just stuck with this, like, ability to fly on a blade. And here's the thing, like, notably, I've said that you have access to the magic at the same level that they do, but unless the magic actually amps their stats in a particular way, and I'm not talking about, like, power up wise, but, like, their magic will make you, I guess I am talking because luck is power up, but I don't know, like, I don't have the same gains as Asta, but Devil Union's so cool. It's against my better judgment. I think I gotta stop. But I like the speed and utility of lightning magic. Oh, like, see, this is such a hard, like, it's these top 4, right? Because, like, in my head, I can justify this being higher than that, but I can't justify this being higher than that because of the utility it provides outside of just the pure electricity and the dark matter construct. And yeah, you know what? I have to. As much as I don't want to, I think I do have to slide Luck down to the bottom of Give Me That right now, just because of the sheer destructive nature of what he does. Like, while all the extra utility is cool, that man is just like a demon. Like, he just be destroying things all the time, but he does it so fast and cool. I'm sorry, Luck, I have to put you down there, my boy. I'm sorry. And then, the free, like, it's a weird thing, right? Like, the main thing that's saving Cotton Magic / Food Magic on top of Finral Spatial Magic, like, it's just the straight utility of both. Like, nothing else is really carrying these two. I think Anti-Magic and Lux Magic has a cooler aesthetic than both of these. But on sheer logical utility, I have to backpack. I have to put those two higher just because they're that good. Speaking of being, well, I should not have drank that water. But speaking of being that good, see, Dark Cloak Dimensions. No. Here's the thing. I'm not sure about.
Excuse me. Let me put on my glasses. I'm not sure about the viability of dark magic being used like dark matter.
Well, now I gotta. Let me think, right? Because, like, he literally fires it off his blade. We just never see him use, and we've literally seen him spawn it out of his body. I'm sorry, Noel. Like, I don't. The only issue I have, I'm gonna keep him down there. I'm even gonna keep him below Noel. The only issue I have is that it's slow, and like, we don't know, like, if Yami's only able to bypass that through the fact that he has, like, the swordsmanship. Like, can Yami spawn out dark tendrils? I don't know, because I don't think we've ever seen that. Can Yami use dark magic in a similar vein to, like, Matt Darkness from Seven Deadly Sins? I don't think so. So until then, I think it kind of just stays where it is, just because of, like, how, like, at least in my mind, neither of these have the versatility and flexibility and safety of, like, these two. And notably, I know I just said Luck would go on, like, a bloody rampage, and it has before, but in terms of, like, as long as you're careful, and you don't even have to realize, you never even have to go up to this, like, insane electric bursting stage with Luck. You can just, like, transform tiny parts of your cells and move that much faster. So you never have to go into that state. Meanwhile, to access, like, these two once again hit that purely offensive stuff with a bit more utility and versatility, but just not enough for me to be like, yes, I raise you to the heavens. Like, nothing truly insane that's making me going like, whew. Like nothing's blowing my mind. But speaking of blowing my mind. Hey yo, oh, know what I'm saying? I'm super saiyan, you know what I'm saying? Yo, get out of, honestly, no, it's not a whole tier buff. Let me not play myself. But if I'm being real with y'all, we know who the best is. Perfect. 12 out of 10. I have no idea how that even happened, but perfect 12 out of 10 magic. It's gotta be Shadow Magic, bro. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, it's gotta be Shadow Magic, and here's why. Specifically on top of that, it has to be Nock Shadow Magic. You want to know why? In the same vein that we give Asta his little devil amp, that means that Nock gets all his devil amps, meaning you get pretty much everything that anyone else could reasonably offer you, unless it's you're looking for a specific magic attribute or you're just trying to be a gimmick. Like, unless, even then, you can mimic those effects too, because, like, we know by fusing with two people, he can mimic the effects of an Eternal Seal and dance forever in a cage with people, so he's good on that front too. Oh, but you get the teleportation, long range teleportation of Finral. You get the servants through the 4 little devils and pack at the same time with shadow magic. You don't necessarily negate magic, I'll give you that, but you still get the freedom of motion for flight, high speed movement, all that good stuff. You're still good on that front. You have all the power and speed you likely want. You have all the destructive capacity you likely want. Well, actually, not all the destructive capacity. That's the only thing where it's lacking, and like big, large scale moves. But honestly, not gonna lie, in either verse, I'm not really trying to annihilate wherever I'm standing. So I'm not even really that interested in big, proud, crazy moves. That's why it's so low. But same thing, like constructs, whatever, I can get that. Like, there are specific niches that you have here, but none of them are worth or on the same tier of just shadow magic. Free teleportation, free control over everything, the ability to teleport between all of your different little people and stuff like that, having them be able to scout for you, all this stuff, them calling you dad, like all this great stuff. Fantastic. But there we go. That's my tier list ranking all their magics. The worst one, hands down. Oh, sorry, to take one last sip. The worst one, hands down, it's gotta be Henry. Like, pretty much no competition. I hate to say it, like, he's just the worst of the worst in verse and out of verse. It's just one verse, you last longer, the other verse, you die quicker. I hate to say it. Gray, a little bit, once again, just due to the niche status, I do think Gray's ability would be just more useful overall than Sekray's. It's not like Sekray's magic is bad. That's why you see the lowest tier after no isn't bad, isn't none of that. It's just decent, because if you get your hands on something, sealing it away could be pretty darn cool. Gray, same thing. Like, you get your hands on it or you transform yourself, you can make some plays. Gosh, once again, it's just a poison limiting him, being completely honest. Like, it's just purely corrosive, and we haven't really get to see otherwise yet. If he turns out being a healer, he definitely gets bumped up a lot. Like, if Gordon could double as a healer, he'd probably get bumped up to amazing, just because of like how good he could hypothetically do with healing and stuff like that. I think that would be good. And then the same thing, I'd have to put her higher, so I think he may actually stay around the same spot if he could become a healer. Same thing with Magna. Magna's just a little bit too destructive for my taste. Like, the fire is cool and all, but it's doing a bit too much. I hate to say it. Then we have Zora. Zora's once again also pretty cool. It's just like the full counter, needing prep time and not being able to perform that many times in a day. All that, it's just not that good, and all that prep time needed to even prepare for that, it's just overall not that worth it. I'll go suffer somewhere else. Gosh, once again, really in concept, super strong magic, great team player and stuff like that, but in terms of like, I just don't really see what else he brings to the table outside of like duplicating other people and firing off the occasional mirror light beam. Like, that's about it. I don't necessarily see anything else. Then, of course, you got Vanessa. Red Thread of Fate, really, really cool. Just not as all of it's hyped up to be. Like, at least in my mind, is not worth sacrificing any of the other hypothetical powers for. And honestly, she doesn't have anything like too crazy. It's weird seeing Yami, like, it's weird to say this low, being number 7. I'm pretty sure is like this low, but relative to the rest of your own cast, yeah, it's pretty low. But I do think he's still amazing. The freedom that he can do with, I completely forgot Dark Magic's name. The freedom he can do with long pellets, like, amazing, good stuff like that. But nothing too crazy. Noelle, once again, pretty darn good, but still nothing like too, oh my, mind-boggling insane. Even with Saint Stage, there's nothing there for me, I'll just straight up admit. Then you got Luck. He's a pretty cool cat. Obviously, I think he's great. Give it to me now. All the power, speed, and attributes of beings better than you, and the just overall, you're just amazing if you're doing good with Luck. Asta, once again, since you have the same level of understanding of anti-magic as he does, he's doing pretty darn good. You can just go hound him for information if you really need to. If you need to go hound that young boy Asta to go get your gains up so you can use anti-magic, he's just that much better. You can go ahead and do that. Then, of course, you have Charmy. The versatility, the power, all that's good. Finral, just the sheer versatility and hypothetical power behind that, all that's good. And once again, like I said, Noct just takes everything that isn't taken. So he's just amazing. But those are my thoughts. Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off.